Hi everybody, welcome to Tika Tuesday. Now today is going to be a special day because we are starting our December Advent celebration. So today is a week early. So today we are releasing our digital kit early for those who are using our digital kits. We're going to be releasing them early, and we're going to be using papers every day in the month of December to create tags to put into your Advent folio. So today we are going to start the project by making the folio base so you can put your tags into it. So we'll have a video today, which is Tuesday the 26th, and then I will bring out another video on Thursday, and that will be adding all the pockets and stuff to the base in preparation for our Advent celebration. So let's grab our papers, let's open up Design Space, and let's have some fun. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a square, and then we're going to resize the square to 5 by 6.5. Then we're going to change the color to green just so we can see, and this is going to be our base layer. So I'm just repositioning it but to the 2 and the 1 point. Is it 2 by 2? Just so I can get the measurements out. So what you see me here is I've grabbed a score line and I'm placing it at the 2.5 inch mark, so it gives me a half an inch little area there. So I'm duplicating the score line, and then I'm going to place this at 6.5 on the measurements there, and that should give me half an inch on both sides. So now I'm grabbing another score line, and then I'm going to resize this so it fits over the top, and then I'm going to change its position to 2.5. Now I did this at the 2 marks just to make it easier for me. You can arrange this any which way you want. So the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab another square, and I'm going to just cut out those corner pieces because we don't need those. So I'm just making sure it's in the proper position at 6.5, and then I'm just going to select the square. Well, I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to put it in the proper position on that side. Looks like I'm just eyeballing it. And then I'm just going to select both the squares, and I'm going to weld those together. So now that I've had them welded together, I'm going to select the weld results and the square, and then I'm just going to press slice, and then I'm going to delete all my slice results except for the main square. So I'm going to drag that down to the bottom, then select it all, and then I'm going to attach. I'm just going to bring that off to the side, and then I'm going to grab another shape. I'm going to grab another square, and then I'm going to change the color, and I'm going to change its size to 4 by 6, and that's going to be the size of all of our cards, and it should just fit right inside that base, and it does. So I'm happy with that. I might, make it a little bit tinier so it can fold, but that's pretty much all we need to fit, and it's got to fit just right inside there. I'm just going to make the numbers a little bit easier. You don't have to do this. This is just me being weird. And once I'm satisfied that it's going to fit in there nice, I'm going to duplicate it 18 times because we're going to need around 18 of these. Now, you don't have to duplicate 18 times and cut it all out. You can cut out one of each and use that one rectangle as a template if you wanted to. But just to make life easier for me, I'm just going to make those squares and then I'm going to print or cut them all out on my Cricut. So I'm going to press make and I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it under my stuff. I'm going to call it Advent Base, Advent Book Celebration, and then I'm going to save that. So as you can see here, it's telling me how many mats I need and how to cut them. So I'm just going to cut these out of cardstock and then I will meet you over at my demo table. Alright, now that we're at my demo table, you can see I have all the 18 cards cut out and I've folded along the score lines on that one thing. So what I'm using here is masking tape. You can use any kind of tape. There's bookbinders tape, there's other kinds of tape, but I liked the masking tape because it was generally the same color as my cardstock that I used. So I am just going to place one end on the masking tape here. And I'm just going to press it down a little bit and I'm going to sort of leave a little gap between the two cardstock pieces so I can fold it over better. So I'm just pressing it down and then I'm going to trim off those pieces once I'm sure it's got a good stick. So we're just going to grab my scissors and I'm going to trim off the little excess. I'm going to do that on either side. So I'm going to grab my masking tape again, and this time I'm going to put the tape on the front. I'm just going to cut a piece off and then tape it down. I'm pressing my nail into the slit between the two pieces of card and I'm making sure it's sticking very well. And then as the back, I'm going to trim off the excess. Once that's done, I'm just going to go over it with my burnishing tool, just making sure that the tape is well stuck down. And then I'm flipping it up to see if it fits in the fold properly. And it's a little bit over, so what I'm probably going to do is I'm just going to trim the edge off with my pair of scissors here. I'm just doing a small cut on the side just to make sure that it folds in correctly. So I'm going to measure it again, and I think I like the way it's sitting. So now I'm going to take my masking tape and I'm going to start taping the bottom part of our little advent base here. So I'm just going to line them up. Make sure that there's a gap in between. And I'm going to repeat the process on the bottom here. And I'm going to add the side. So I'm just going to take the masking tape and tape it down. Then I'm going to add the other piece. I'm going to make sure that there's a gap in between. And then press that down. And because I haven't cut the masking tape, I'm just going to bring it up the bottom and smooth it out. And then I'm just going to cut it at the top there. I'm going to use my brayer here, and I'm just going to bray it and scrape it down. Make sure it's sticking really well, and then trim off the edge. Now that that side's done, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to tape it down. Make sure that I leave a gap and tape the other card down, and then trim up the excess. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fast forward until we get to the next card. Now I'm just folding the two pieces. I'm going to fold one and then fold one over, and I'm going to see if that works well, and I like it. So now we're going to add a third card, and this is going to go on the bottom of the middle card. So I'm just going to measure out my tape, and I'm going to attach it on the bottom so it flips down. And now that it's taped down, I am just going to fold the folio the way I want it to be folded. So I'm going to put one in, and I'm going to put the other one in, and I'm going to fold the bottom one up. And I'm just checking to see if my folds will work properly. So I'm going to fold the bottom one up. I'm going to just press it down and make sure that it remembers that. And then this one wants to fold in, but then I've noticed there's not enough gap room between the two pieces of tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull up the masking tape. And it's still not fitting, so I'm not satisfied. So I'm going to pull up the masking tape at the base, and it's masking tape, so I mean it's a hit and miss, but I'm giving it a go, and it's coming off fairly well, so I'm just being gentle with it as I'm taking it off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase that gap between the main base and the bottom flap so it folds, things fold in easier. So I'm just holding that down. Just going to carefully pull that up. And then I'm going to increase the gap. Just straightening it out a little bit. make it a bigger gap so it folds in proper. So I'm just kind of eyeballing that there, laying it down, and then pressing down the tape. So that should fix the mistake that I made. Now because I pulled the tape up, it's going to be a little bit bubbly, but that's fine. If you think your tape isn't going to stick down properly, you can always add some glue to it to make it extra sticky. So I'm just going to go with the brayer here. It's acting as a bone folder, and I'm making sure all the tape is stick down. And I'm not too worried about the tape showing because later we're just going to add paper on top anyways. So now I'm going to close my book. I'm going to close that flap. And then it should fold right into the base, and that's exactly what I want. So that's the bottom part. So now I'm going to flip it upside down, and we're going to work on the top. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to grab our masking tape, and then we're going to create a little tiny bit of a spine. Now this is just going on the one thing that we're using as a extra piece of spine here, and we're just going to grab a card and we're going to add a bit of space. My fingers are sticking on everything, and we're going to add that other card, and we're going to tape it down, and then we're going to trim it the same that we've been doing for the bottom. And now that we have that one piece done, we're going to do the same thing on the side. We are going to add a side pocket or a side card, if I can get my tape to work. And it's the same thing again. We're going to put the side down, we're going to leave a gap, and then we're going to wrap the tape up, and we're going to trim the edges. Same thing now on the other side. We're going to put our tape down. We're going to add our card. We're going to leave that gap in between the two cards here for the top part. And then we're going to trim off the excess tape. I'm going over it with my bone folder, which I found, and I'm just making sure there's no air bubbles. And then I think I'm going to flip it around and do the same on the back side as well. That first piece had fallen off, so I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to make sure that everything is stuck down, there's no air bubbles, before we continue on with the next card. Now that that's done, we're going to do the same on the bottom here, and we're going to add the tape. I'm just going to trim it down to size. And then I'm going to add the card on the bottom. I'm not forgetting my gaps as I'm going along. And then adding the card, and then I'm going to place tape on top and secure that in place. Now that that's done, I'm just going to check all my folds, and I'm going to make sure it folds up and over, and like it so far. So we've got the top and the bottom part done of our little folio advent holder. So now we need to work on the sides. So I'm going to do the same thing that we've been doing, except for the sides have one extra piece. So we're going to start on the right side, and we're just going to add tape to the little spine that we made, and then we're going to add a card and trim as we need to. The same thing that we've been doing over and over again since we started. And now that that's done and it folds in well, we're going to add another card to the right of this one, and we're going to tape that down. So I'm just going to grab a card, I'm going to grab my tape, and then we're going to tape it down, leaving a gap, trimming off the excess. And now I'm just testing to see if it's folding around properly and it's landing where I want it to be, and it is. So now we're going to add on another card. So I'm going to grab a card, and I'm going to add it to the top of the one that we had just put in. So I'm going to do the same thing that I do to all the rest. I'm going to tape it down. I'm going to leave a bit of a gap. And then I'm going to trim off all the edges. Now I noticed here that I trimmed it a little short, so I'm just going to use some of those trim offs that I had, and I'm just going to cover that with the tape. There's a reason why I just keep my trim offs to the edge, just in case I need an extra little bit of tape. So once that's all done, we're going to go and move on to the next card. Alright, so now we're going to tape a card onto the bottom here, and we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to put the tape in, we're going to leave a little bit of a gap in between, and then we're going to trim off any excess tape that we don't need, and then move on to the next card. Now once that's done, I'm just going to check my folds and fold it over and make sure that there's enough room for the folio to fold into the base. So that's what you see me doing here. So it folds into the base nicely. So we're going to open that back up. And then we're going to add our last card for the right side of this advent base. Alright, now that the right side of our base is done, we're going to fold things in and see if there's any other places that need to be trimmed. So it folds in nicely there. So I'm going to fold in all of the things that we have done so far and try to figure out which way I want them to fold proper. And so far I really like the way it looks, and I really like the way it's folding. It's folding into a nice little booklet. So I'm just checking to see if there's any places I need to trim. Any places that need to be stepped down. So far so good. So I'm going to just open up and show you what we've done so far. So we've done the right side, we've done the top, and we've done the bottom. And as you can see, it's a very big project so far. Now we have to add the left side of the booklet together. So I'm going to fold things up, and then we're going to start adding cards to the other side. So I want the left side to match the right side. So I'm just showing you here, this is how you're going to see it. And I'm just going to flip it over to make it easier to glue onto that side. So we're going to add our cards and we're going to tape them. Now since I've already showed you how to do this side, I'm just going to fast forward until we get to the end. Alright, now that we are finished, we're going to fold it up and we're going to set it into the book. So I like the way it folds in, so I'm going to turn it right side round. And I'm going to flip the bottom up, flip the top down, flip the side over, and flip that side over. And we have ourselves a little book type thing that we're going to put all of our Advent celebration tags into. So I'm going to unfold this and attempt to show you how big this project is. So we have the sides that fold out and then down. We have the bottom that folds down. We have the top that folds up. It's a rather large project. but it's a lot of fun to put together. You can use this for any other kind of things. You don't need this many tags, but we're going to need this many pages to do our Advent celebration. So I'll see you on the next video, and we're going to add some digital papers to these cards, and we're also going to add some pockets. So I hope you enjoyed this project, and I can't wait to see you on Thursday. Happy crafting, everyone.